Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
You thought this was a regular podcast, but it was actually me, Dio. This is gonna be a rough hour.
Hour?
You never know.
We signed on for an hour. I do not recall signing this.
I think that's past curfew.
Yes, that would be past curfew.
Okay.
So anyways, I am the guest host.
Would be co-host.
I'm the guest host. That's AJ.
That's AJ. Don't mind him. He's just here.
He's part of the live studio audience.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Live studio ostrich.
Haha.
And then Kobe, do a thing.
Okay, so welcome back to episode 3 now of
whatever the hell this is.
He got the name right. He wasn't even the co-host.
So this isn't Star Wars. We don't just start at 4 and then go back to 1.
You're a valuable contribution to this.
I'm glad. Glad you guys are brought along. Oh, it's still recording.
Okay.
Why do you still have that as your phone background?
Okay, the audience doesn't know what it is, so for clarity, because this goes to the episode.
We'll edit it into the video.
I'm just gonna find its way.
It'll find its way into everything.
Well, it's actually today's lesson in friend zoning, especially in the place called Long Beach.
Well, you see, the thing about friend zoning is that you're a bitch, and that's it.
Hey, she's not a bitch. She is a woman with her opinion.
I said you.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well,
like no one can top that. That was
now we know why he's only a guest host.
Yep. This is why I fly solo with my hobby.
With everything.
Yep.
Why are we doing this?
Because it's fun.
Because we're bored.
This is entertaining.
I like talking.
It gets better. Okay, so
it just goes downhill from here.
Pretty much. Okay.
It's all kind of strange just talking into
A mic.
this.
Okay, so a thing we usually start out is we go on with our week, what's been going on with our week. So Kobe, you want to start?
He was like, "You're
Okay,
cute." He was
so
like, "Let's take a
this
picture."
week
And I was
we
like,
have
"Okay."
had,
And he asked for like his number.
Marching band.
And gave me a call.
We actually did a pretty damn crappy last weekend, and this weekend we placed even lower. Woo!
We placed low, but I think we did better.
We set the bar high just to go.
I do say that we definitely did better this week, though. It was a great show.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you see this?
At cathedrals, angels, and flying.
Yes.
And on the days that we weren't having a competition, we were up till 2:30 doing homework, which made most of us cry.
Wait, we were supposed to be up doing homework?
Yeah, I was saying, not me, I was doing shit.
Yeah.
We're in God's house, so we shouldn't be saying things like this.
Yes, we are currently in Valley Christian High School, home of the Crusaders.
Hey, stalkers,
That is
don't come
not a
here.
good name for a Christian high school.
That is
Let me put it this way.
I was like,
So,
did you use your mind?
I don't
So
know.
it's just screenshot.
it's so contradictory.
You know, people get mad at the Redskins football team for its name, right?
Yep.
Yeah, same basic gist of what's going on here. Or what should be going
I'm
on.
16 years overdue. Almost 17.
Yeah.
Wait.
So, is that
Natalie, I've
all
been saving
your
my
week,
life for
Kobe?
16 years.
Literally me.
Yeah, basically. I had to
No,
catch up on all this
literally.
homework from missing.
I feel like a cactus.
Well, you know what we say in jazz band, you don't want to set the
I feel
bar
like a
too
cactus.
high.
Like no joke.
That's what you say in jazz
I'm
band.
sure
Oh, yeah.
To discourage Caleb from doing a beautiful
Unless you're
solo.
Vince.
Yes. He sets the
What
bar.
was the caption? Megan, what was the
Okay.
caption?
that we won?
No, the...
Michael.
Trying to tie in a joke about balloon, but I probably shouldn't.
Oh,
probably
there's a
shouldn't.
picture.
By the way, I want to mention these three people
the
went to
little, like-
Sadie's without me.
No, we just went to Sadie's and then you went there. It's not like we were planning on going together and skipping arm in arm. We just, yeah.
And you did not ask me not to go to Sadie's.
I liked it, and I put the scam.
In fact, I don't think he asked anybody not to go to Sadie's.
Two of the three of you guys have girlfriends. The other one just got lucky.
No, I
Not
didn't.
in the
Okay, not
lucky
in
that
the
you would
lucky,
think.
yeah.
Not in the lucky
Not in the
thing.
Daft Punk sense. That's
I tell Gibby how it is.
Not in the classical meaning of lucky.
Well, actually, to be honest, I stayed up all night.
Oh, shut up.
For different reasons.
We're just gonna leave that to the viewer to decide. If you think
Should
that,
anybody be viewing this?
if you think that Kobe did
Beside
homework,
us.
press 1. If you think that Kobe got laid, press 2. If you think that Kobe just stayed up eating noodles, press 3.
The probably right answer is 4.
And if you don't want to participate
All of
in
the
this
above
podcast,
simultaneously because that's how much game he has.
and if you don't want to participate in this podcast,
how would that
hit the
work?
spacebar button and leave.
Listen and then. What are you trying to do, Logan? Sabotage the podcast?
We still get a view.
Okay, so you can leave if you want, but tell your friends.
Yes.
Thank you.
Tell your friends about this terrible whatever this is.
It's a podcast. It was supposed to be your podcast. Do you want to take responsibility? And I'm baffled it's about to hit 6 minutes.
You thought it was Michael Gill,
But it was actually me, Dio.
Ben.
I love it.
I don't understand this.
No, this is Patrick.
Okay, Michael, what'd you do this week?
Like swallowed.
Not much, just
Swallowed whole.
procrastinating on
No, she
homework,
does.
That is really
making up
good.
missed
Yeah, that's
tests.
really good.
What else? Oh, I'm here, so that's fine, I guess. Fun stuff. Okay, what's about the mark where people like skip to halfway? Because then we can just say whatever we want.
Around this time.
All right, anything we want. The Alpha Tower is made of dildo, so. Hitler's head was sewn onto Margaret Thatcher's body, and now that person is sitting in the basement of Parliament, and they're planning on blowing up the Loch Ness monster.
I'm surprised that more people didn't have a mustache like Hitler.
Charlie Chaplin really ruined the Hitler mustache look.
You know what somebody pointed out to me today? That Justin Bieber was the Hitler of music. But I told them they were wrong. That couldn't be right. Because Hitler played the bassoon, so technically Hitler was the Hitler of music.
That's like when I went on meal.
I like how only you got down and dirty with these facts.
Yes. But sir, you've already lost the argument against Justin Bieber according to Godwin's law, which states that the corollary to Godwin's law.
I think we can all agree that Justin Bieber loses.
Yep.
I like to think that he's a failed experiment, and he's actually a 34-year-old woman from Oxford who's testing the psyche of tween girls.
It was like a robotic turkey.
And the real singer is some like 8-year-old
Lame.
Asian kid who's getting paid millions for it. So yeah, there's that.
Probably.
It's Sam.
She just reposted this one.
So is that Michael? That's your week?
Yep.
Logan, what was your week?
Pretty much same as them. Don't know what to
Oh,
add.
that one's on. That was like.
Well then. My week.
Okay, for the viewer, he clapped his hands and then rubbed them together like a fly who just pooped on your cupcake.
Football band
So,
be like.
Or you could imagine what those sounds were.
yes.
That was not what you thought it was.
Oh, but it was.
And if it was, it would have been very quick.
It's a weird party
What's
over
even
here.
going on?
And that is why I can't get into HSADs.
Football band be like.
You're the reason why I have depressing
Got
times.
a thing.
I don't know why that's so funny, but
My week
why do
is,
we follow around? I don't
well, okay, how do I express?
Why?
I am
She's
still
like
in the
tryhard.
zone where like people have, it's called the friend zone.
Okay, Andrew,
Wait, which
Andrew,
one?
you're not in the friend zone. That implies that you're friends. You're in the oh shit, not this guy again zone. Get
I'm,
it right.
Tammy is my
Talking
friend,
about
be
this
quiet.
one.
Michael, what are you
Oh,
doing?
yes, he was in band.
Okay.
Now for a fun fact, read off of a Cracker Jacks wrapper.
Yeah, that's fine.
The Astros, formerly named the Houston Colt, 45,
Houston Colt 45.
Are moving to Fresno and
their
ruining the
first Major
city.
League game on April 10th, 1962 against Chicago Cubs and won 11-2.
Well, it's not that much of a victory if you're beating the Cubs. I mean, they're the Cubs.
So apparently the Astros were named the Houston Colt 45s.
The more you know.
Oh my god.
And knowing is half the battle.
fast.
G.I. Joe.
What's the other half of the battle?
I said Colt 45 and 2 zigzags.
Yeah.
Maybe that's all we need.
You can take her to the bar after
Carry
dark,
on, Andrew.
smoke that type of weed. And as the marijuana burns,
We can take our turns singing the rap songs.
Stop to hit the bong like Cheech and Chong. Sell tapes for beer.
My
So
version-
roll, roll, roll.
Roll my joint, pick out the season's stems, feeling fly as hell throughout West Palm Bay, spinning on Dayton's ribs, and I turned into a bomb for a second.
Okay.
Roll my 83 Cadillac Coupe Seville. If my tapes and my CDs just don't sell, I bet my caddy will.
Well, this podcast is amazing.
You see, most podcasts will play their theme song in the beginning of the video, but no, that is not us.
We narrate it in the middle. Because you know why? You know why? Socialism.
We don't even.
Socialism is beautiful.
I think that had something to do with Nazis, so watch out.
Godwin's law, you lost. Get out of here.
No, we agreed that Justin Bieber lost. He's the one who brought Hitler into it.
He brought Hitler into the world.
napkin hat.
We need a theme song.
Okay, so you know that age-old question, like, if you could travel in time, would you kill Hitler?
Styling as heck.
That's not what you do. Because you know how time works. Like, say you kill Hitler and put in a fake baby, or like a replacement orphan baby, and that orphan baby grows up to be the real Hitler. Here's what you do. You kidnap the baby, and send them off to an evil baby orphanage in the Himalayas. And you put a bunch of other time travel babies in there, like, you know, Pol Pot, Saddam Hussein, Stalin, and then you raise them to become good with the help of monks. So they become genius forces of good.
We're old Buddhist people who have no use in society.
Oh,
So I would know better.
I think we've all decided we're all pretty much going to hell.
Well, we're in a Christian school, so we will be cleansed.
You know what they say, ain't no rest for the wicked.
And mine don't grow on trees. I got bills to pay, I got mouths to feed. Ain't nothing in this world for free. No, I can't slow down, I can't hold back. Though you know, I wish I could. Because there ain't no rest for the wicked until we close our eyes for good.
I think that should be our theme song.
Yes, but copyright.
I think it should
Too
be...
bad.
And we'll be right back after this enormous snack break. Oh, well, some snack break, I guess. Okay, everyone left. I'm at home. Everyone else is at home, but they're not here. I'm currently doing the podcast from my house in the safety of my house again. I'm no longer in Long Beach. And, back at like the 9:40 mark, like Logan said, time to go on with the rest of my week. I watched a bunch of anime. I watched this show called JoJo. It's a bizarre adventure. You should get into that. Because that's where that Dio thing's coming from. I watched JoJo and, yeah, watching it on the bus on the way there and back. We were going to do the podcast on the rest of the bus, but somebody was in my seat and I didn't want to start any trouble, so I just moved to a different seat. Better than the seat I was going to stay in. Whatchamacallit. And what else did I do? I took a gander at Viva Pinata, Trouble in Paradise. And if you don't know what that is, it's kind of like a life simulation game, but for pinatas. Because pinatas are the future. So, yeah, I guess that was the majority of my week. Like I said, we got back, well, like what Kobe said, I listened back at the audio, and since it was live in the middle of a gym, there was a lot of people talking, and some of it was okay to hear, some of it wasn't, and yeah. And what happened was, what we were saying is we got 8th place at a marching show, and last week we got 6th, and the same BOA competition, Bands of America. So that's, yeah. I didn't faint this time, so that was cool. I mean, because last week I fainted. I was meaning to do the podcast back in Utah, but I don't know why I never got around to doing it. Well, now that we're doing it here, it's just as good, I guess. So that's good, amazing, and cool. But yeah, sorry you heard some people in the background. It was my idea to do out in the gym. We were gonna do outside, but we decided not to, and so now here I am, at least continuing the journey. Anyway, like I want to get back to doing the friend gym before I was called like a bitch. Okay. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this because people have gone on me for being too depressing in these things. So I'm not. I'm just gonna say, ladies, if there's a guy out there who you see as a friend and friend only who likes you for who you are, give him a chance, please. it'd be a really good idea. I mean, what have you got to lose? He's your friend. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You'll still stay friends. It's nothing wrong. And same thing goes for guys. Guys, if there's a girl who actually likes you, like her back for who she is, not because of what she is. I mean, like her for her personality, don't like her for her body. Ruben. It's just not even cool to do that. I mean, please don't do that. And don't lie to them when they do that. Don't take advantage of them. I hate when that happens. Because there's a guy who likes her just as much who will actually treat her right. And trust me, I know. Anyway, but like I said, that was most of the week already. And so I'm going to hit off with some news right after this break. Oh man, you know what I like? Okay, on my off years from not doing bands, I like to do something called swimming. Swimming is my favorite thing. It's a good sport. I'm a pretty decent swimmer. And you know what? That's a good thing. But you know who else likes swimmings? The swimmings? Speech impediment? Swimming? I can't say swimming for some reason. Anyway, who else likes swimming? The Sims. It's because Sims 4 is getting an update which allows you to actually have pools, which is weird because they didn't have it before, which I find really stupid. I'm glad we're getting pools now, but shouldn't that be a thing we should have had to start with? I mean, if you think about it, Sims 4 is just a dumbed down version of Sims 3. Sims 3 is probably a lot better. Sure, the graphics aren't actually, to be honest, the graphics are just as good. They're just modeled a different way, but I like that model better than the new one. The new one looks too stupid, to be honest. Not stupid, but just, And they have the whole thing where you act like a... I don't know how to explain it, but it doesn't really add much, just not as much context. I mean... yeah. So, we're finally getting pools, and a bunch of other things that were missing from the initial release, which is something that should have been in there. I mean, it wasn't going to hurt them to just put that in there. So, what was the point of hiding it? I mean, it just makes me mad, like EA. EA doesn't finish games, and when they do finish games, it doesn't have everything in there. Like, Sims 4 is a finished game, but it's not like... But not everything's in there. They should have had swimming pools in there and a bunch of other things, which is something that should never happen. But when Battlefield 4 came out, Battlefield 4 wasn't finished. Trust me, it wasn't. What they tried to do was they tried to cram it, Battlefield 4, onto all consoles. 360, PS3, 4, and Xbox One. And that's a bad idea, because Battlefield 4 was clearly for next-gen consoles. Granted, it barely worked in next-gen consoles either, but still, it should have stayed off of Xbox 360 and PS3. And if it was going to stay on there, run it on Frostbite Engine 2.5. It was still just as good. I mean, Frostbite 2 in some cases looks a lot better than Frostbite 3. Frostbite 3 is unstable. Why they would put a Frostbite 3 engine on a mainline numbered Battlefield game is completely beyond me. So, I don't know why they thought it was a great idea to do that. It just doesn't really work. It never worked. Battlefield 4 is still having problems. I can't connect to a server for my life. Too many bugs and glitches still that persist in old gen consoles, 360 and PS3, which is dumb. It should never happen. It was clearly meant for like the Xbox One and PS4, but never. If it doesn't run good on old gen consoles, don't run it on them at all. I mean, there's a clear excuse not to run them on old gen consoles. I mean, come on, get your hand in the game. And, oh man. So, now, I mean, just as equally to EA is, EA's other company, but since they're French and they have their Frenchman lies, they're just as worse, maybe even worse. Ubisoft, why do you insist on being Ubisoft? You're abusing your fan base so badly. Like what Bethesda's starting to do with their fan base, mainly in Fallout. I mean, I'm a Fallout fan. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a fan of it. I'm not gonna go like. I'm not like a huge fan of it. I like the game. I'm a fan of it. I like their RPG elements a whole ton, but I'm not gonna sacrifice lamb just to hear the word Fallout 4 and confirmed in the same sentence, even if it's not confirmed or not. But I'm not going to talk about Bethesda. I'm talking about Ubisoft. Because Ubisoft is abusing their fans to the point where just because the word Assassin's Creed's in the title, they're going to buy it. And I don't know how to put this. But let's think of this. How do I put this? They're locking Assassin's Creed Unity at 30 FPS, which is stupid. I mean, if this is a game that's like only for next gen consoles. The equivalent to that is Assassin's Creed Rogue, which is a huge other cache-in, and it's just stupid. Why lock it at 30 FPS when these consoles can go way higher to 60? Don't do that. It's nothing you should do. But for Cinematic Edge, I doubt that. Look at here, let me just look up what there's this game that came out in I think 2011 that not many people liked, but I really liked, called Rage. It was by made by id, people who made Doom. If you don't know what Doom is, please leave because I love Doom. Let's see if I can find it. Oh yeah, Doom. This Doom ran on Tech 5. That was like on let me look up how many frames it was. It was running on freaking, oh man, it was like a huge number. Oh man, let me just 10 times faster carrying out to be 10 because of mods, download content. Yeah. Yeah, let me just look it up because it was like a huge thing at Tech 5. But Rage is running on. Rage is running at. I'm sorry if I'm boring you with this, but EdTech 5 is, which powers both the Evil Within and Wolfenstein New Order, but it ran at like more than, I think it was either early like 60s, like when people started using 60 frames per second, or around there. Ooh, 2011. That engine was 3 years ago, and it looked amazing, especially in cutscenes. So there's no reason for Assassin's Creed Unity to run at 30 frames per second. There's no reason for that. It's stupidly abusing your fanbase. Man, and let's see, what else have they done? Like recently, not even close to recently. Oh, let's see. Oh, Day 1 DLC, which I would get into a lot, but considering that's a major thing now with a lot of game developers lately, it just it's something so many people have touched on, right? I'm not gonna even dive into that. Which we got cinematic quality. Oh, and this is the last one, but my favorite. They're removing their games off Steam, right? So people use Uplay. No one likes Uplay. Uplay wants to be Steam, but for Ubisoft games. It'd be good if it worked. It's like Origin, right? It's exactly like Origin. EA's equivalent to Steam, but for EA games. The reason why Steam made it is because Steam worked. Majorly. But Steam didn't cram things down your throat. Steam didn't make you open like 10,000 tabs. Sorry, I got the hiccups. 10,000 tabs just to load a single game that might crash due to Origin or Uplay. And that's the reason why Steam was so on top, is because Steam didn't focus only on Ubisoft games or EA games. No, it focused on other games. It allowed other developers, third-party developers, to put their games on the platform, not just Valve games. They didn't put just Valve games. They put more games on there. Now I can understand from a viewpoint like, oh, we're just EA, we don't have this kind of thing, but still, that's no excuse. And the reason why Steam also succeeded is because didn't have like, would you like this every 10 minutes? It has sales, but the sales were good. Okay? We weren't buying the same 10 games every week. Okay? Like, they weren't cramming like DLC down our throat. I mean, they would have the packs, but they would have packs. And they even gave us like, would you like to buy this instead of this? And be like, you know what, that'd be a good idea because I'm saving money on this thing, and it includes this, the thing I want, so okay, I'll do it. That's what they did. Even Steam has that deal for like $100, maybe even lower, where you can buy every Valve game. And give me a second, I have to let my dog out. I'll be right back. 40, okay. So naturally, it just goes down to that every Valve game was released for that, and you were able to do that. But on its own deal, it wasn't like every game was just Steam or Valve game or wrong. That's where EA and Uplay fail. Is because they don't want the next Steam. They want to be Steam. They want to feed off their player. So when you take games off Steam, which is stupid, you should always keep your games on different platform or on different distribution service if you can, because more money will roll in that way. People like Steam more than your thing. I'm sorry that your thing's not perfect. Okay? And you can get rid of it. I would advise you get rid of it. But you're deciding not to. And there's ways you can make Uplay work that you're not thinking about. And you just can't try and be the next Steam. It's not going to happen. Steam's its own thing. It's its own little thing. Look at when it put games for Windows out of commission, if you think about it. Now games for Windows is now just Xbox Live. It's truth. And truth hurts. I mean, but you can't do that. Don't take games off a platform people like. It's not good. Not a good thing to do. And, yeah. So, yeah. I think I'm done ranting about Ubisoft for a while. And, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare was released sometime on my way back from Utah. And, like, the day I got back was the day it was released. I didn't get my hands on it, but I've seen now that YouTube's been so kindly generous and now runs videos at more frames per second and more quality, I'm actually able to see the game. Not watered down like how Ground Zeroes kind of look watered down through YouTube, but when I played it, it looks amazing, and I love Ground Zeroes. I don't care what you say about it, son. And, but I've seen it, and it looks better than Ghost. Okay? Way better than Ghost, by all means, but that's not hard to do, because MW2 looked better than Ghost. Ghost wasn't a bad game, but it wasn't the greatest game. Especially not one of the greatest Call of Duty games, actually one of the worst. But that doesn't make it a bad game. I give it like a 7 out of 10. This is a way of saying if you hand it off to the right developer, you'll be okay. Sledgehammer Games made this one. If you're not familiar with Sledgehammer Games, they're the ones who made, from what I can tell from seeing Ghost, the good parts of MW3 when Infinity Ward had to lay off some people, which never really crossed my mind considering Call of Duty makes like $30 bajillion each year, except for like these past 2 years. So I don't know why Infinity Ward needed to lay off people, but I'm still trying to think about it. Like how Ghost was made by like 5 different studios. So, and Sledgehammer Games was responsible for a lot of the smart ideas behind NW3 from what I can see. And when they tackled this down, they tackled it pretty good. I've seen a lot of gameplay, and sometimes I forget it's a Call of Duty game, to be honest. So, why people still hate it is really different. Like, because people say it's just a ripoff of Titanfall. You can think about it, but this one doesn't have mechs. That's the major difference. But, I mean, you go futuristic, but This is close to the near future. Not far, but not close, but it's close to the near. That's like it's called. And what you call it? Dang it. It's close to the near future, and what it's saying is it's not there yet, not to the future all the way, but it's close by. Timefall was in 2164 or something like that. It was far. Timefall was far because they were in space already and doing hyperdrives and stuff. So yeah, and Call of Duty has a lot more complex, controls, etc., etc. But I mean, I love Timefall a lot. Don't get me wrong. But I want people to remember that Timefall is made by literally the same people who made NW2. Gordy, I can't let you out because I don't know what Mom wants me to do. I'm sorry, Gordy. Are you licking your paw? Okay. Like, you can't really... It's like saying, I'm playing Doom, but next game, because Doom 2 looked almost the same like Doom 1, I want to play Doom 3 as a tactical shooter. Like, I'm going to play as an RPS, role-playing RTS game. So, I mean, it's like saying that. I mean, you can't expect Call of Duty to be entirely different. It's going to be a first-person shooter. No one gets on Battlefield for this. I mean, they're starting to, but no one's getting on Halo for this. And look at Halo. Halo's literally the same. They literally switch they switch 3 buttons to make Halo different. The crouch button, the melee button, and what was the other one? Oh, the switch grenade button. That's what Halo does. And it's half the time Halo takes away things like Halo 4 doesn't have dual wield like Halo 3 and 2 had, or doesn't have half the guns or that Halo 2 and 3 had. It doesn't have a lot, actually, to be honest. I feel stripped down now. Not true, but I mean, you can't expect it to be different, like entirely different. The stories are different in each game, and some of the multiplayer. But I look at Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4 from 3. It's Battlefield 4 with a different, darker paint job. I like Battlefield 3 better because it had more color. And I look at Battlefield 4 and I just get bored because the colors look so drab. It's not even like... it fits the theme of not finding Russians as much in this one, but Chinese. But like, I liked Battlefield 3's blue as opposed to this orange thing. Orange and gray and occasionally red. And I just don't like it. But it's still, even if I didn't like the colors, it's still just Battlefield 3 with a paint job. And from what you can tell, higher graphics, which in some cases look worse. I like Battlefield 3's better. My favorite Battlefield game is Bad Company 2, which I wish they just make a sequel to Bad Company 2, because that's the series people care about. To my knowledge, it's the one with the best story. Yeah, you got 4 people as a funny cast. But I'm getting a little off topic here. You can't just expect every game to be different. If I was playing XCOM, that was a bad example. I was gonna say, you want me to play the next XCOM as a first-person shooter, but I forgot that was gonna happen. So there's no point to that. It's like saying I want to play what's a game that I can use? Oh no, because that happened. I was going to say Metal Gear as a RTS, but I forgot Metal Gear Acid was kind of like that. It's like playing Pokemon as a third-person shooter. There you go. Like, I don't want Pokemon to be different. Pokemon's always going to be turn-based. And Call of Duty's always going to be a first-person shooter. Final Fantasy's... Oh, wait, they're changing now, but over the years... Then again, people are starting to hate Final Fantasy. God, Lightning's return was so bad. But you could get what I'm saying. You can't just switch genres out willy-nilly. Halo tried to do it, and look what happened to Halo. Wars, at least. Halo Wars was such a cash-in. But still, I digress. It's like, you can't change the game entirely. You can change the setting. And the settings are different. Granted, for better or for worse, but they're different. That's what you wanted. There's a lot of modes to keep it different. But still, you can't expect each game to be significantly different. And if they're putting effort, they're putting effort. You blame how they just changed some names from guns. Okay. something, right? I mean, it's not entirely different, but still, just guys, you can't change an entire game. What if the next Smash? What if Smash 4 was a one-on-one fighting game like Street Fighter, or Def Jam Icon, or a Fight Night Round 3? What if Smash was like Fight Night Round 3 instead of Smash? It's different, right? I mean, come on, guys. It can't always be significantly different. And I wish more people would think about that. The graphics can be updated, sure, but still, that's not an excuse for you guys to get on it for just being, yeah, it's running the market, but that's a good thing if you think about it. It's helping out the market in games, for better or for worse. It's giving us money so we can still make games in the future. So the entire industry doesn't seem like a lost cause like many people think it is. Okay? Everyone has their job. Think about it as that way. Think about it as that. Think that each game has their own thing that's keeping this industry alive. Nintendo saved this industry more than once. Call of Duty and GTA continuously feed money into the gaming industry. And there's a lot of endorsements that go with this. Call of Duty is helping out homeless soldiers out there, and I really think that's a good thing. Games are starting to do that now, and just because one game is the same thing every year, which, I mean, it's released every year, but by a different developer, and you're kind of wrong if it's the same thing. It's just going to be a first-person shooter. I'm not expecting the next Call of Duty to be an RPG game, open world, beta, early access game. I'm not expecting that. I'm just going to expect a first-person shooter, because that's what its genre is. Not expecting anything different, really. Just a new setting. With the exception of, the series that run off the same setting, like Modern Warfare. I get that, because it's going to stay around Modern Warfare. But more or less, it's going to be a different setting. Even though I'm actually willing to go back on World War II. I'm actually going to join people who say that. Like, that's a good idea. But still, guys, it's a game. Calm down. Just because it may seem to you the same thing every year, okay. And another thing people gripe on about is its fan base is just 13-year-olds. There's more people to it. I mean, it's a major thing in esports. And that's kind of good. I mean, I play it. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I kind of play it, and I'm 15. My favorite series is Metal Gear. So, I don't know how that stereotype really plays out. I mean, you got your fan base, but every game has their fan base. Me is just a bunch of Japanese people playing. I'm not Japanese, but still. People who play Skyrim and Fallout are just as annoying because they won't shut up about Skyrim and Fallout being the best game of ever. Same thing with Dark Souls. Dark Souls' fan base is like an in-between. It's an in-between fan base. Where one side is like, oh, GERD, it's so hard, I can't play it, oh my GERD, I'm going to complain about it, I'm going to write a blog about it. Kind of hard. And the other half is like, guys, it's not that hard if you actually can play the game. Because Fallout is hard if you're not familiar with RPGs. So when people jump from Skyrim to Fallout, it's going to be hard. But, the thing is, it's just going to be, if you get down and deep and actually use RPG elements that are somewhat vacant from Skyrim and Fallout, you can get the game down pretty right. But every game has their fan base. A lot of Fallout's fan base and Skyrim's fan base is 13-year-olds. I want you to think about that. Same thing goes with Battlefield. And Tom Clancy games are just a bunch of 39-year-olds trying to relive the old days. But still, everyone has their fan base. Mario's and Nintendo's in general, you saw that. So, and Sonic's fan base. Okay, now Sonic's fan base is weird. The fan base. Oh man. So the Final Fantasy fan base is nothing. Thanks, Lightning Returns. Oh man. We'll be right back. Oh man, you know what I like? America. You know what America is? Free. kind of, sort of, not really. Me and my friend Lily had a discussion about this, but it's free for the most part. And you know why I really like free games? And you know why I like games that are free when they have DLC? Well, technically, I like one DLC. But you know what's my favorite? Games with free DLC. And how much free DLC do I like? Exactly 16 free DLC. That's a lot of DLC. And it's all free. But you know what game is doing that? The Witcher 3 will have 16 free DLC packs. Or DLC. That's good. I am a fan of Witcher 2. I've been meaning to get around to playing The Witcher 1. And I'm excited for that. More for the game, but excited for the for the DLC packs. If you don't know what The Witcher is a role-playing game in which you play as the Witcher, who is like a monster hunter, kind of. But instead of monster hunting and controlling the monsters like a monster hunter, he hunts them down. As he is part of an order, blah, blah, blah. And there's boobs in it, so that gets my mind on track, you know that. But, you know, and now they have 16 DLCs with their own free, with their little stories. They're not like pre-order bonuses, you can get them anytime, which is cool, amazing. The really thing that I'm starting to think about, especially right now, because I just thought about it on the spot, is how long or how impactful these DLCs are going to be. Like one of them could be like a story thing. It could be like 30 minutes long, or it can be like you get an extra skin or something, like an extra bit of clothing. But it probably won't be that. I trust CD Party Act enough for them to know that they can. I mean, Witcher 2 was a great game, above all means. So I really think it's good. It's a good idea. I mean, yeah. So, yeah. 16 free DLCs. I was gonna get into more into that, but I didn't really find a reason to, and now I have. And so yeah. Let's see what else I can find. Any other news? Splatoon single player experience. Did you miss Nintendo's Direct? Master Chief Collection. If you really care right now, the collector's edition of Kingdom Hearts HD 2.5 Remix comes with a really cute plushie. And it's cute, I guess. It's a plushie, and it comes with the 2.5 Remix edition. So that's pretty cool. Kingdom Hearts is a really good series that combines Final Fantasy with Kingdom Hearts. Of course it's going to be Kingdom Hearts, but I mean Final Fantasy with Disney. And Disney is a thing that apparently people still like. I don't know. I am a fan of Disney. I'm not a fan of Disney. So, I like a lot of Disney films, and I don't like a lot of Disney films. I'm kind of a mixed bag with Disney. I didn't like Frozen. I actually hate it with a passion. Not because it was an outcry. I mean, a movie can be an outcry and I can still like it. But, I mean, I didn't like Frozen a whole lot. I didn't like Frozen to begin with. But, but there's a couple of, especially new Disney movies that I really like. Like, I like their take on Big Hero 6, which is the Marvel superhero group based in Japan. And a lot of new Disney films. Some new Disney films. I like it when Disney works with Studio Ghibli, like with Ponyo. That was pretty cool. But I don't like, yeah. I mean, I love the hell out of Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh is my favorite Disney series. So, naturally, when Disney decides to get into the game making business, they obviously made the right idea with Kingdom Hearts, especially with Kingdom Hearts 2. And since the reveal of Kingdom Hearts 3, everyone's getting hype for Kingdom Hearts 2. We haven't really heard much from Kingdom Hearts 3 in a while, but Kingdom Hearts 2.5 Remix is getting its own thing, and more people are hyped for that. And there are times where I would rather play Kingdom Hearts than Final Fantasy, especially with Lightning Returns. But Final Fantasy 15 looks okay. We're good. I would play. I would play. Oh, I just threw up. Oh God, that was bad. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I just it's been a long day. I've been eating a lot, mainly most out of reasons. And oh man, that freaking hurt. I've been on a bus the entire time, and I've been talking like a chopper for the majority right now for 33 minutes and 54 seconds straight. And it really gets on you for that. I'm sorry if you thought that was disgusting, but it was just a little throw up. It's fine. I'll be okay. I'm not sick or anything. And so, yeah, Disney made a good idea. And there are times where I really liked, after Lightning Returns, I liked Kingdom Hearts a lot more. So that's good. Oh man, over 900, only 900 arcade games add to Internet Archive. So on the internet, you can play over 900 originally coin-operated games to the Internet Archive, a non-profit working to build a library over the internet. It's kind of like the console living room section of the Internet Archive, which includes games from Atari and Sega, which is really cool. So basically, they got a bunch of coin-operated machines, hooked them up to machines, and now we have more machines. So, that was cool. That's cool, I guess. I mean, like, you can play 900 coin-operated games that were back from the day. I mean, I just got back from Utah and Long Beach, and I've seen so many coin-operated machines that are of arcade games, like Virtual Cop and whatnot. So, I think this was a smart investment of a sort, and I think that was a smart idea. I'm running out of news, guys. I'm sorry. It's been a while. For some reason, over the course of me being gone, there wasn't enough news. There wasn't news. If you care, StarCraft 2: The Legacy of the Void is was announced, or not announced. More or less, the first trailer was announced. So, StarCraft, if you don't know, is it's like the original Warcraft. So it was like a RTS, real-time strategy, top-down game. They have all your bases belong to us and whatnot, and really famous. And now this is their fourth DLC pack? Maybe it's a standalone thing. I'm not sure. And I'm still trying to figure it out. And they've been around for a while, and this was announced. So this it's a big deal. A thing I've always thought, but I've always looked back at it and thought, oh, wait, that's a cash-in that they did. Is they did like World of StarCraft or Galaxy of StarCraft, which is like World of Warcraft but in the StarCraft universe. Not a bad idea, but it would come off a little bit as cash-in, which I wouldn't blame them for doing. If they did, it'd be a smart idea, but people would go, isn't that just like Warcraft but StarCraft? And since Warcraft was built since 2004, yeah, so I don't blame them if they don't do it. Perfectly fine. But yeah, that's just my thought of the day. Don't get used to it. Announcement. Blizzard announces, wow, more Blizzard news, because Blizzard also makes StarCraft, I think. Not sure. Blizzard announces new PvP FPS called Overwatch. While I was at City Walk today, from when I'm recording this podcast on Sunday, November 9th. Okay? I look at this, Overwatch, and I saw a guy with a t-shirt already for it. This was announced a few days ago. And so basically, the action of Overwatch takes place in a technologically advanced, highly stylized future Earth in the time of global crisis, and an international task force of soldiers, scientists, avengers, and oddities known as Overwatch have come together to restore peace to a war-torn world after many years. The group's influence warned, and it was eventually disbanded. Overwatch might be gone now, but the world still needs heroes. So it's just an FPS, PvP, kind of what it seems to me like an arena type game with classes of their own people, and in the near future. And no, I mean that was a kind of hard read, but futuristic warfare, kind of been over that for a while, huh? And people are outside. So, yeah. So, futuristic world, really good, really kind of thing. Kind of like an arena-based type deal, which is cool. I almost said an arena-based type deal. My jokes ran dry. It's the end of the week. But still, Overwatch. It's a cool trailer to check out. I would check it out if I were you. And yeah, people are here. So I'm gonna try and wrap this up in 4 seconds? What's going on out there, Gordy? There people coming? People coming inside? People coming inside, Gordy? L4. People coming inside, Gordy? People gonna come inside? People gonna come inside and get you, Gordy? People gonna come and get you, Gordy? What'd you do, Gordy? Are the cops coming to get you? Cops gonna get you? What'd you do? Nah, I'm just playing too. That's my talk. But still, I mean, this kind of seems like this game that recently came out, that came out back in like the launch of PS4 and sometime before then, called Black Light Retribution, which it seems kind of like that. But each class has its own special ability, unlike Blackwatch, which had some classes that had, it's kind of like Killzone with Call of Duty, kind of. So, and Blackwatch was a good game, but yeah. So, yeah. Okay, so I'm out of news now. So I'm gonna try to edit this, and I'm gonna start trying to do this thing where I'm gonna try to do a question time kind of thing, Q&A. So, like, on the bottom in the comment section, you can ask me any question, like, at all, and you can finally, like, in the bottom comment section, ask me any question in the next episode at the end of the podcast, or maybe before the podcast, or something like that. I will answer you, and, like, I'll say your name, and I'll answer your question, so I'll be able to, live on the podcast, just for you, because I like you. But don't take that too seriously. Quote, angry video gamer. But just don't, like, put too many obscure things. Like, if you ask what's my favorite anime, I'll answer that, or what's my favorite game series, which I've said a bunch of times already on this podcast. I'll answer you, or, things like that. I'll do it. But if it's like, what kind of underwear are you wearing? It wouldn't be hard to answer that. But if it's like something like uncomfortable, I will not answer. So think before you say. But still, I will answer any question. Or more or less any question. So feel free to leave your questions in the comments below, and I'll answer. Okay? So now time to wrap this podcast up, Logan. And you can, once I'm done with this, you can hit the space bar, which never made sense. And you can leave this podcast, shut off your computer, put gasoline over it, light the match, throw it on, and melt the hardware. And that concludes episode 3 of the podcast. Guys, ladies, stay out of the friend zone, the danger zone. Ladies, I want you to start your own PMS, private military corporation of your own. go into the friend zone, extract the friends from the zone, and love them with all your heart. Because those are the best kind of guys. And heartbreak is the worst to feel. I know. Other than that, guys, take care, take it easy, and have a nice night. Goodbye.